Hi, I am Gina Huff, the founder and executive director of First Fruits. I have been married for almost 40 years. I have 3 children, 5 grandchildren under 5. We moved to the Blue Ridge area approximately 20 years ago. We started coming up here and decided about 5 years ago to be full-time residents. Prior to that, this area has been a big factor in my personal relationship with Christ. Before I started coming to the Blue Ridge area and spending time praying on our deck overlooking the mountains, I never understood the personal relationship, and I felt, I had a lot of loss in my family and a lot of loss in my life, and I was becoming bitter. And that deck made me better because I decided to have a personal relationship. And once I had that personal relationship where I was praying and spending time in His presence, I always felt called to this area with another food ministry that I was involved with, but there were a lot of things that I just felt needed to be more. I felt we gave them a need of food, but we didn't see them again for a month, and there was no personal touch. There was no hope and love of Jesus Christ in it. I just was feeling tugged to be pulled into full-time service, but I'm stubborn and I didn't want to. So God, one night woke me up out of sleep and told me I was an unfaithful servant because I wasn't doing the call that He called me to do. And that was to start a ministry here in, I can't do it.
Yeah, do it. Take it long.
I don't cry and I don't like it. That can't go on the screen. So on that duck, when God woke me up to come out about being an unfaithful servant, He said that this is my last chance, that He's told me what to do and He expects me to do it. And I spent the night in prayer. And when my husband woke up that morning, I talked to him that God had put this call in my heart and I can't ignore it anymore. And so there was a lot of roadblocks to the path of becoming First Fruits of the Ridge. The first was money, financial stability. How would we afford a building? The other concern was, where would you get your volunteers from? So I was sitting in church not paying attention to the sermon, and God told me that, why do you need a building to love on my people? Go where they are. Be mobile. Be out where no one else is going. Care about the people that no one else cares about. And that's what First Fruits is about. Our main ministry is being mobile and going out to places that have very little access to things. And they have very little access to even people. And they just need to know that someone loves them. They need to know Jesus Christ loves them. And that's what First Fruits is mainly about. So we nourish physically, but we are more concerned about nourishing spiritually, and giving them hope and letting them know that we love them and God loves them. First Fruits of the Ridge is a mobile ministry because we have a full-size industrial trailer with a kitchen that goes out into communities, and we first provide a hot meal. And that just gets people to open the door. They know that we have taken the time during the day to think about them, to prepare this meal, and to serve it to them at their door. We go out to 16 different locations throughout Fannin County, Gilmer County, Polk, Tennessee, East Polk, Tennessee, and we are now at 3 locations in Union County in Blairsville. We also take along with us a mobile refrigeration truck that takes fresh produce. They get to come out to the truck, shop, and get the fresh produce that they want. Also, mobily, what we take with us is some pantry items, toiletries if they're in need. And then we bring what we call prayer warriors with us, people that are going to go in and love on them and let them know that Christ loves them. They're going to share the gospel if they don't know about Jesus Christ. And if they know about Jesus Christ, they're going to encourage a personal relationship with Him, to get your focus off your circumstances and your focus on Him. We also are now a 2-part ministry. We have a campus ministry now. We have been blessed with a building on Loving Road here in Fannin County. And out of that building, we have an industrial kitchen where we can have community meals, we can have community outreach, we can have educational classes. Just recently, we held a women's tea for the women that we go out and serve. We brought them to our campus, gave them a devotional, gifts, and just a beautiful time of fellowship to let them know how special they are and how loved they are. We have become such a big ministry that started out with 3 volunteers in 2 locations to 16 locations and 50 volunteers. There is such a need now for financial support because the food costs have gone up, and now we're giving fresh produce. We're making fresh milled bread. We're having community engagement events. We're putting on this addition for this bread room, and that requires an expensive $30,000 oven and other things that we need for that. We now have 2 staff members. We have a full-time pastor that disciples our volunteers and also helps train to disciple people out in our community. So that is a burden on the ministry. So we are in financial need just to help with operating budget. With the 2 staff members, we now have a staff member that's part of the community engagement to help us get more engaged in our community, make the community aware of us. Also, we're in the process of starting to write grants, but our grants are few because we refuse to write any grants that will stop us from sharing the gospel and the hope of love of Jesus Christ. So we have select few grants that we can do. That's why we are now in need of some financial support to continue these programs. We have so many elderly people here in Fannin County, East Polk, Tennessee. I'm sure it's the same in Union County, raising grandchildren on fixed incomes. They are in need of home repairs and food and so many other things. And these things cost money. We have a lady right now that's in desperate need of a roof. I have another lady, we went over and we bypassed her hot water and gave her running water. She lives in this very small trailer. She was lugging 5 jugs of water 3 times a day. She's in bad health. She needs a hot water heater. We can't give her a hot water heater. We gave her running water, but she needs hot water come this winter. And we just have need after need that we see like that requires financial support. So that's the future growth of our building here. Our campus ministries is to have more in community engagement, classes, events. We also are going to further a bread ministry that we now have where we mill fresh grain bread so that we are trying to be healthy and give them healthy options because we're not a food bank, we're not a food ministry. And so that will be in our new building as well. The next step that we're hoping to unroll for the campus ministry is a Pay It Forward Cafe. The first day that I walked into this building on Loving Road, I felt God telling me this needs to be a Pay It Forward Cafe, where you can come in and you can get a cup of coffee or a breakfast sandwich, but you can pay it forward and pay for somebody else that can't have that coffee and that breakfast sandwich. And not only just a place where you can come get a meal and a cup of coffee, but there's gonna be a greeter, somebody that's willing to give you prayer when you go off to work and just offer friendship if you need it that day, because this is a tough world we're living in, and people have been very isolated due to COVID, and it's a isolation that's not ending. So we're trying to fight that on both fronts, mobile and here on campus.